This is usually what we think of as the beginning of the high time for right whales. And it is usually just before the first calves are brought up the East Coast. This year, in 2021, we actually have had the first mother and calf enter the bay. That was 3 days ago. So it's actually earlier than we've ever seen before. The area, for reasons we don't completely understand, is providing an extremely rich food source. The prey of right whales, of course, is tiny plankton organisms, hardly visible to the human eye. When we swim in the summer, they're all around us and over us, but we don't even know it. But this time of year, apparently the concentrations are particularly high, and they form layers that make it, I suppose, delivers the resource in just the right shape and size to make it a really great restaurant, a great place to eat. For a little while, through the cycles, right whales time their entry into the bay, make use of it, and then as soon as as the plankton concentrations weaken, probably in late April or May, they're gone. My biggest concern is related to the calving rate. Some of my colleagues don't worry about it. They say, oh, they can do it okay. I think they're beginning to worry a little more because it's been a long time since we've seen this population function properly. But I know from the work that a number of people have done that there are thought to be 90 or fewer females that ought to be able to give birth. And it's also obvious that a lot of them are not giving birth, which means they should be ripe to give birth, but aren't. And what is that number in any year? Because there's been so little calving, there are a lot of females that are supposedly waiting. They're ripe to be fertilized. And some of us have just ballparked it back of the envelope. I feel that we should be seeing, to make up for the hollows with the number of whales that ought to be able to give birth, we should be seeing 30 or more calves born this year, for instance. We've got 18 born. And on the mortality side, the causes are obvious. Ship strikes, struck by boats, and entanglement, getting wrapped up in plastic rope and sometimes wire that the whales can't release themselves from. Some may be dying of old age, but it appears from a lot of work that excellent statisticians have done that a lot of these whales don't reach old age, and they don't because they die before they get there. The study of these animals and the causes of mortality has also become more intense. So it's kind of apples and oranges, but it is likely the case that because of increased fishing activity, increased strength of line, we are seeing more mortality from entanglement. On the other hand, lately there have been a number of ship strikes. So about 5 days ago, 6 days ago, we had a whale that finally succumbed, and though the carcass is still at sea, we know that it has a lot of fishing gear wrapped around it. And then only a few days, I think, before that, a calf and its mother were struck by a boat, and the calf died. The mother, who's an old friend and comes to Cape Cod waters regularly, has not since been seen. We don't know how badly she was struck. So those are great examples, just contemporary ones within the last week. 2 mortalities for sure. The story on right whales is indeed very simple. It is, and I always emphasize this, it's the simple equation, births minus deaths equals the number which develops a trajectory. The trajectory of the population is downward, which means that births are overall not keeping pace with mortality. The best case would be just a hope that we see increased calving. We don't really have an answer. And the introduction of effective management tools. I don't think it can get a hell of a lot worse. We're down to approximately 360 animals. We picked up a few in calves, but we're losing them fast. So let's say we're at 360. The worst case is functional extinction in 20 or 30 years. It's hard to say when. Functional meaning there may be a few whales kicking around, but we haven't solved the problems. The reproductive rate is down, and there are so damn few whales that they really are not likely to recover in this ocean. We're in the midst of the worst case scenario, and we can see it on the horizon.